Yesterday, the panel, we'll back up. The panel with, well, heavens, where's that? Oh, the Harley Quinn panel. It was scheduled for yesterday, but because of some flight delays, how many has run through that lately? Yeah, I have. Anyway, that has been rescheduled for 11:30 over at Smallville. So if you are here to see the Harley Quinn panel, that is taking place down at Smallville. Just to let you know of some of the activities we got. How many's here for the rest of the week? Huh? How many have been here all week? It's good to have you folks. An annual thing, isn't it? Next year will be the 40th anniversary of the Superman celebration. Who else is celebrating a milestone? 80. Does that name ring a bell? 80? That number? What is it?
Superman started in 1938.
There you go. 80 years of Superman. So we're gonna do something very special next year for that too. Just to let you know, Dean will be here shortly. At 12:45, it's James Marsters. They will be here for another Q and A. At 2 o'clock this afternoon, it's Superman trivia with the Rinaldis. They will be here. Yes. Oh, I'm used to answering that. Man, it's unreal. Then from 3:30 to 5, it'll be Superman, the Christopher Reeve Years Trivia. That will be hosted by John Field and Jim Bowers, so you definitely want to be here for that. And then we'll cap it off tonight with a big concert featuring Corey Evans, the Revolver. Corey is a Metropolis boy that has made it well. He was a regular performer down in Branson, Missouri. Now he's out on the road with his group. They will be here starting at 7 o'clock until 9 o'clock. So cap off Saturday's 39th annual Superman celebration with a fantastic concert. And this year will be open for dancing, and we're going to have a great time. And that's the goal right now, is to have you folks to have a great time. How many's having a good time, huh? Really? How many's having a good time? Ladies and gentlemen, while we were waiting, I started this, IMAS Motorsports, for a living.
Shirts and volunteer shirts and things like that. It would not be possible to put on the events that the city of Metropolis puts on if it wasn't for that volunteer base. Jimmy won't have trouble spending the money he's making for announcing. He can leave him a penny ice cream cone to do that.
I want to introduce the man of the hour. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big Metropolis, Illinois welcome to Mr. Dean Cain.
So his mother.
You know how moms are. I gotta prove it to her. She thinks I tell her things that are untrue. Never. How's everybody doing? Is it too cold out there? Too hot? Too warm? Just perfect. Okay, it's perfect. Thank you. All right.
Well, I was going to introduce producer, director, writer, host, star, man of steel, Mr. Dean Cain.
All right. You say all those things, and I'm looking at all the other people. That's a lot of stuff, but...
Oh, I'm pretty sure you do everything except shrink wrap the DVD.
I do shrink. Actually, I have a company that does it. No, yeah, I do a lot. It's one of the great things about having this job in the entertainment world is you can do a lot of different things. You can write, you can produce, you can direct, you can be an actor. You can do a small role, you can do a big role, you can, it's pretend and it's great, it's storytelling and it can affect people's lives and I'm blessed to be able to do it. So thank you guys, that's the reason I can do it, is people come out and see things, so thank you.
And we are going to let you ask 90% of the questions, but I have one. You wrote a couple of episodes of Lois and Clark. Had you written for television before that, or had you just learned from watching other people do it before you put your hands on it?
I actually had been a writer before I wrote those episodes. So I started writing, I had a contract writing for Hollywood Pictures, feature films, before I had the opportunity to play Superman. They actually kind of conflicted, and I had to make a choice. I chose playing Superman. I thought it was a better choice.
All right, we're going to have questions. Supergirl, our official Supergirl.
All right, Supergirl.
Microphone.
You're official.
Who also happens to be my daughter, so I guess
There
we're
you
all
go.
Kryptonian.
We're all
aren't we?
Kryptonian. I like
There
it.
you go. All right, if you have a question, raise your hand. And Tara is...
Once again, please keep this aisle clear so I can get through. Thank you.
We've gotten track.
Can't you just fly there? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. You know how many times I've heard that? I was lucky enough to host the Today Show yesterday. I co-host that. And of course it was fun, and then I flew over here to be here today. And every time I get in an airplane, I get that same question. So I got it twice yesterday. Just throwing that out there.
Now, did you do the entire week of the Today Show?
This week I only did Friday. I was in London last week, so I just came back, and then went out and did that. I'll be doing it again in July, because I'm headed to Australia on Tuesday. Laying down under.
Well, and I'm sorry.
We'll get there. You got the mic.
Yeah. Another question is, how did that gig come about? Did they contact you? Did you actively pursue it?
You talking about the Today Show?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been co-hosting the Today Show for a long time. I guess when you've been in this business for a long time and been on shows for a long period of time, they start to talk to you because you become friends with the producers and with the hosts and things. And in the last few years, when I've been going on, they've been like, you've been doing this and been on the shows. Why don't you ever just host one of the episodes? I thought that'd be kind of fun, and so I started doing that the last few years, and I enjoy it. A lot of actors don't like to do that because there are a lot of really good actors who are more comfortable playing a character than being themselves. I'm comfortable doing either, so I can do that. And for me, it's easy. This business is always changing. You know, there's some people who just would do movies, some people would just do television, and some people are, transferring. It's just always changing thing, and I like to be able to do a lot of different things. So I enjoy hosting.
Well, and one of the actors' credos is if you stay in the business long enough, eventually they'll build a theater around you.
I like that. I like that a lot.
All right, our first question from the audience.
Superman himself.
Thanks a lot, Dean. Great to see you, man. And actually, you are a kindred spirit to me because I'm a standout, former standout football player.
There we go. You probably ride receiver.
Actually, running back.
Still my enemy. Still my enemy. Wide receiver, running back, enemy. Defense versus offense.
There's still somebody to hit.
So, my really succinct question is, how did you, after being a standout at Princeton, transition, and obviously being drafted by the Buffalo Bills, by the way. Yeah, buddy. Yes, sir.
Buffalo Bills. All 7 of you that like the Bills, I'm with you.
So I know the journey. I was actually drafted by the Patriots. So I know the journey.
Ooh, there you go. Oh, got a couple boos. Yay.
So I know the journey and how that happens, injuries and everything. My question to you is, after that, how did you find yourself transitioning from that particular point of being such a fantastic, outstanding athlete? And I get it, but how did you transition that to your current career?
What is your name, sir?
Andre Pelbon.
Andre, pleasure, sir.
Yes.
And you know...
Number 33, Northwestern Wild.
Oh, you're smart, too. Northwestern. Jeez. I really hate you with running back, smart, and also really well spoken. So that's 3 strikes against you, sir. No, I mean it's something I tell a lot of young athletes, and that's the thing we talk about, and then you've seen it firsthand. Is a lot of guys they'll choose to go to a college. You went to Northwestern, so you didn't go there just specifically because you're a coach. You went because you're going to one of the best universities in the world. Same reason I chose to go to Princeton, and because your ability. Thank you. But as a young athlete, you want to get that scholarship, and you want to get coddled, and you want to feel important. that's not the most important thing. I was lucky enough that my father paid for my education, because in the Ivy League, there are no athletic scholarships. So if anybody ever tells you that their son or daughter got an athletic scholarship to the Ivy League, they're not telling the truth. Just going to throw that out there. So my father paid for my education, and my mother and father did, and it was great, and I was able to go to what I think is even a little better school than Northwestern. And although we played you guys, and you guys mopped the field with us, so I don't want to talk about that. Yeah, you did. It was that was a tough game. Although I knocked your tight end out of the game. Just throwing that out there. And he was 6'5", 250. Not that I really remember that or anything, but number 85. Anyway, so I remember like every play. That's what happens. But the problem, a lot of young athletes want to go to school for a coach or because it's a program, and the coaches can change. They can get fired. This can happen. That can happen. The kid could get injured. And then when you get to the NFL, there's only a fraction of college players that make it to the NFL. And even when they're there, only a fraction of the people that are there are going to make it. So the odds of making it are so small, you need to have a backup plan. Fortunately, you had Northwestern, I had Princeton. It's the things that you want to do. And it's unfortunate what you see is a lot of the guys that come in, wash out of the league, and they're gone. Or they'll come in to play in the league. The average time in the league is 3 years, and that's your career. You're not going to make $3 million, $5 million, or even the league minimum, which I was making, thank you very much. You're not going to get that for a long period of time, because it's a finite period of time. I played the game because I loved the game, and I was very happy. It helped me get into college. I wouldn't have got into Princeton without it. My grades are okay, but not that good. You got to have something special. So you need to make that transition. The reason I was able to make that transition is because my father was preparing me for that transition even before I had to transition out. He was telling me to be a writer because he thought I was a good writer, and that's where I started writing. And he said, write, because as a writer you can always find work. It doesn't matter if your leg gets broken, your knee gets broken, your face gets broken, and there are times my father wanted to break my face. So those things, so that's really important. So he really encouraged me to do that. So I was preparing for getting out of the league even as I was getting into the league. And that's a really important mindset. And when you're a rookie, they have those rookie seminars where they teach you, they talk to you, and they're like, listen, women are going to come after you for your money, men are going to come after you for your money, hanger-oners are going to come after you for your money, and they try to teach you to take care of your money and watch your behavior. But as young athletes, young men, 22-year-old guys getting out there, you tend to be aggressive and stupid. I was stupid, I was aggressive, and you make some dumb mistakes. So you got to be really careful in that world. And for me, suddenly I was 22 years old, and the two things that I did best in my life, go to school and play football, were gone. And part of it that helped me adjust was the fact that I'm kind of ignorant. And I was in the 3rd year of Lois and Clark before I realized I wasn't going to go back to the NFL. Hard-headed and not that bright, so that helped me a lot. But that's the way I was able to transition. And thank you, I appreciate that question. Yes, sir. Thank you.
While Supergirl is finding the next one, let me speak for a moment about Supergirl. You have an incredible role on that, and Terry Hatcher this season joined the cast. Apparently you never had any scenes together. Did you get a chance to see each other or reconnect on any level while doing Supergirl?
Well, I've only seen Terry once since we finished the show, and that was at her book opening. She wrote a book, something about burnt toast. I can't remember exactly what the title was. It was burnt toast. Oh, there you go. It wasn't even something about burnt toast. It was just burnt toast. All right. Thank you, man. All right. So I saw her then, and when I was up there shooting Supergirl, Andrew Kreisberg, our exec producer, said to me, he said, hey, we're thinking about bringing in Terry in for 6 episodes. And what do you think of that? Is that a cool thing? I think, first of all, I've said this numerous times, I think Terry Hatcher was by far the best Lois Lane ever. No offense to Margot or anybody else, but I think Terry was the best Lois Lane that I ever saw. She was amazing, and it's part of what made our show work. The show was called Lois and Clark, and she was very strong, and yet vulnerable and funny, and all the things she had to be. So I haven't seen her since then, but I'm headed to Australia to do a couple of cons next, well, I think Tuesday. And they asked me, and I'd spoken to Terry briefly after she'd gone up to do Supergirl. We had not done any scenes together. Our characters didn't intermingle. I never got to see her up there. they asked if she'd be interested to go to Australia, and so I reached out to her, and we're both headed to Australia next week, so she's going out. It's going to be really interesting. I'm going to tell you, we ended on such a weird note for our season 4, and we were picked up to go to season 5, and so we weren't supposed to be finished. We were supposed to shoot another season. Terry got pregnant, wasn't able to work, and that's how it ended. So we've never been able to finish it up. But these days, with all these reboots and the things that are coming out, I've been quietly lobbying, saying, you know, why don't we do a 2-hour movie or a 6-episode? I think it'd be fun. The only problem is that Superman's not supposed to get older or supposed to age really slow. I was like, thank you, sir. I need at least 6 weeks before I got to get in the suit. That's all I'm saying. At least 6 weeks.
Well, there's another question. What would it take to get the shield back on your chest?
Just a lot of zeros. No. What it would take, honest to goodness, for me would be a great script. I mean, it's for somebody who's in this world as a writer, you know, there's so many things that could have happened between Lois and Clark. There's so many things I wanted to explore on the show that we never got to explore, which is, you know, I wanted them to have, you know, they got married, I wanted them to have kids. What happens when a Kryptonian and an Earth person has, you know, has a child? And we sort of alluded to it a couple times. Do they get superpowers? Do they age differently? What happens? So we could have opened up a whole new box of rules and things and explore territory we hadn't explored. I would love to see that come back. See them, you know, 20 years later as a married couple, and see what their kids are up to, see what the world looks like, and see what's going on. That'd be fun. Maybe, listen, maybe she got impregnated a couple times and got some of the super blood. I don't know. Let's make it up. You know, you never know what could happen. Maybe she got a little superpowers or something.
Well, speaking to all of you, Dean Wright. I'm sorry, Mr. Cain Wright.
That's my dad.
My new best friend, Dean!
There we go.
Let's encourage Dean to write a miniseries or a 2-hour movie. Put it out there. Let's hit Warner Brothers. Let's hit Pineapple. Let's go after it.
That's a great idea, except I would end up doing a whole lot of work for no money, and that's terrible. That's terrible. Yeah, because the weird thing about that is when you write something or you do something, if I did come up with people with a great concept, they would take it, scrap it. They always do. They want to come up with their own thing. That's, you know, even when they're doing the films now, they don't want the same actors. They haven't, you know, I love the way Stan Lee shows up in everything. And I like what they've done with Supergirl, where they're bringing all the people back, and it's great to have them play different roles. And it's nice for the fans, because we're fans too. We're fans of the genre, we're fans of the show, and so it's nice to be a part of that. The films haven't done the same thing. They haven't brought people back and done things.
Well, even Smallville.
Smallville was television.
You and Terry both came back for Smallville.
Well, Christopher Reeve started that. Once the big guy came back, then we were all obliged to. No doubt. Christopher Reeve was and still remains to me my Superman. So.
All right, do we have another question close by?
I just have a question.
Yes, sir.
I'm also a big fan of Christian things.
Thank you, sir.
I was hoping to see that you can make some more in the future.
Yeah, I've done a whole lot of. It's funny because now they're calling it whether they're Christian films or faith-based films or whatever, and now they're just trying to say it's a positive message. It's interesting the way they message it out there. I love those films because I'm a father. I have a son who was small. Now he's 17 and 6'2.5", and it's just weird. And he studies mixed martial arts, and he's always trying to throw an arm bar on me or something. And I tap really quickly. Just tap. He just grabs that tap. It's interesting because he goes to a Christian high school, and when God's Not Dead came out, and those of you who have seen that, I don't play a real nice character. And all the kids know me from his school, and they're sitting there watching. They went as a school to see the film, and the one kid turns to my son, he's like, "Yo, man, Dad's kind of a jerk." I was the only one who didn't find some sort of redemption in that film, which I hold as a matter of pride now. It was a lot of fun, and those movies are great. So I started making a lot of kids movies when my kid was there. But the biggest change in my career in the last 17 years has been because I'm a father first and foremost, and I refuse to leave Los Angeles for a series or and I won't leave Los Angeles for a film for more than 3 weeks. And I also won't take the lead in any television show. Like Lois and Clark, there's 2 leads. I won't do a television show like that. I'll do something where it's an ensemble. Otherwise, I'd be an absentee father. And I'm a single father, so it's just he and I. I couldn't not be a father, so I chose to put him first and able to have my career set. Thank you. Well, the truth is, that's an absolute. I'm very lucky that I've been able to do that, because a lot of people can't choose to do that. It may have hurt my career. It certainly hurt my pocketbook, because there's a couple of series out there that I was offered that for like a truckload of money. Like literally, they would say, we drive a truck of food money to do that. And you having to turn those down sometimes makes you cringe a little, but I would never trade it for being the father that I am for my son. It's the best thing in the world. But he's almost 18 now, so look out.
Well, we've opened the door to God's Not Dead. Was this a role you sought, or was this something that they came to you and said, we'd love you to do this film? Was this something you felt emotionally connected and tied to?
God's Not Dead came around because Kevin Sorbo was producing it. And for those of you who don't know, at the end of the casting process for Lois and Clark, there were 2 actors left to play the role. It was myself, dark-haired guy, and some blonde guy named Kevin Sorbo. And I was like, he's blonde. I got this. This is mine, right? I mean, he's big and strong, but he's blonde. And, you know, it looks weird when you take a blonde guy and dye it dark. So I figured I had it, and I ended up getting it, although it was a lot closer than I wanted it to be. So Kevin and I became friends. He obviously went on to play Hercules, that guy, and did real well. But he was producing God's Not Dead, and the fact that we were friends, that's the reason I went and did that. They came to me and said, hey, we're shooting this little Christian film, this little faith-based film. Here's what it is. And I said, that's interesting. I like the message. It's great. So I popped on over there to go work with Kevin, and then I got there, and I never worked with Kevin. It's like, you suckered me into this, buddy. But it was great. It was a lot of fun, and you never know. That was a very small movie. You never know what kind of a response a film will get. And that's part of the fun. And I was just shocked by how well it was received, pleasantly surprised, and I thought it was great. Part of what was great about it is it didn't sort of hammer the message home. It didn't hammer its faith message home and let you figure out what people were feeling and make your own decisions. And I think that was smart. It was intelligent of the film, and I think it did well as a result.
Who do we have? We have somebody way in the back. The aisle stayed open.
Well, hello.
Hi, you are obviously in this universe for the long haul, being our Clark, and now their Mr. Danvers. Who would you like to play next? What character in this universe would you like to play?
I think you're setting me up here, because you went from Superman to Jeremiah Danvers, and you're basically saying, is it Grandpa next, right? I get your question. I hear you loud and clear.
The new Perry White.
Yeah. All right. I get it. I'm getting older. It's tough. Yeah, I embrace the universe, you know, and it's great fun to be a part of it. What's really interesting is when we did Lois and Clark, the idea of bringing Superman back out, having a superhero show was like, oh, what a terrible idea. You can't do that. It'll never work. It'll never work. And now, like, every 3rd show is a superhero show. So it's a matter of timing and what happens. So I will embrace it. Every third television series is a superhero show, and every 4th movie is a superhero show. I will confess, my son and I, last week, sat down and went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Which was I have to admit, I like the first one better. Sorry. There was more story and less. Sometimes you get lost with the special effects. I kind of got lost with the special effects. So we finished the movie, and we were talking for a minute, sort of chatting about the film, and we were standing there next to a Wonder Woman poster, so we go, hey, let's go watch this one now. So we went and watched Wonder Woman as well, so that was really cool. But we got our dose of superhero movies that day, and they're both long, so we spent about 7 hours in the theater. People were looking at us strangely, but it was all right.
Yeah, you get a numb bum after.
Yeah, we had those big old seats, though, you know, where it lays back. Dad might have had a glass of wine or two. It was great. It was awesome. I was like, that's the way to see a movie, let alone 2. That's probably why I wanted to stay and see them both. And, you know, guys, too, there's that part. I got to watch both films, and that was a lot of fun. And I'll play anything, you know. I would even jump ship and go over Marvel for something if that were the case. Mike, I'll tell you why. Well, let me just ask this question. Did anybody like that film with that Ryan kid, that Deadpool? Did anybody like that? All right. That movie cracked me up. So the fact that he was so good as Deadpool made me respect Marvel just a little bit. So I'm okay with that. I'm excited to see that one.
Do we have somebody? We have somebody shy.
We have a Supergirl.
We have another super.
Since you're on so many TV shows, what's your favorite part about being an actor?
That's a great question. My favorite part about being an actor is being able to tell stories. You can tell all kinds of stories. You can make somebody, you can maybe influence someone's opinion on something. You can make somebody think about something. You can make them feel, you know, happiness or sadness. So to affect people and tell those stories, that's the best part of it. The worst part of being an actor is that every time you finish a project or a movie or something, you're unemployed. So then you got to go get another job. That's the hard part. But it's great fun because you never know. I literally, if I go, I mean, my phone rings, if I look at it. Okay, no, nothing there. But I'll get something and it'll be my agent and it'll be like, you're on a plane tomorrow to Romania if you want to do this action movie. And I'm like, yeah. All right. And so it's very exciting. It can be a really exciting life. But then again, you can look at your phone and there's nothing there for a while. And that can be scary for a lot of actors. But it's just great fun to be able to tell stories and you know, reach out and touch people.
And you get paid for lying to everybody.
Well, I wasn't going to tell everybody that. Yeah, of course.
I'm sorry.
Pretending.
Pretend. I like that thing. But while Supergirl is finding somebody else, with one kind of recent exception, everyone who has ever worn the shield seems to have an immense respect for, this is who I'm playing, so I'm not going to do or say anything that will disrespect the shield. Did you feel that, like, immediately? Did you adapt that from the Supermen who had come before?
I think that if you are cast as the man who wears the shield or the woman who wears the shield, I think they've gone through in the process and decided what sort of an individual you probably are. And if you take, let's just take Melissa Benoist, for example. She is, I think she's an amazing Supergirl. She is super kind and friendly and nice and intelligent and all of those things. She is already those things. So I feel like someone like her in the shield gets it. And you know, I think when you go through the process, whether someone respects the shield and respects the idea of Superman and then the values in the small town America that he was raised in, you know, that's the part of it, you know, it was Kansas, it wasn't Metropolis that he was raised in, let's be honest. But I mean, it's that kind of a thing. I think you know the kind of person who you have playing that character, and I think it's a byproduct of it. I don't know that anybody goes out and says, I'm going to make sure that I act in accordance to this. I think it's just the character of the people who end up getting cast.
Well, even in cosplay at festivals, celebrations, conventions, you get the feeling that the people who are dressed with the shield, they don't want to have a drink while they're in costume. They don't want to do or
although Christopher Reeve did have a good drink or two in one movie. That was great. I have thrown that GIF or GIF or whatever it's called up on Twitter more times than I can tell you. Yeah, it's a great thing when you have that Superman. I mean, you see the S and it stands for hope and goodness and all of those positive things. You know, you know that person who has the S on should be a force for good, and it's a great thing. So when you have that S on, you're embodying all of those positive values. If you do something negative, it's just not super. Okay, be positive with this.
Who do we have?
Hi, Dean. I'm from Buffalo, New York.
Yes, Buffalo.
There you go. Listen, what was the decision making for you and Terry Hatcher to finally get married on the show?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I think it was sort of the infancy of the internet at that time, and so we were getting some people talking. We worked hand in hand with DC Comics. There was a lot of those conversations going on. I wanted them to get married. I thought it was great. I pushed for it because it hadn't happened. So ultimately, the decision goes to the network. You get the network, you get the studio, and all the head shed, the big bosses up there that make the decisions. They decided it was an okay thing to do. And then once they got us married, I think they were like buyer's remorse for a minute, and then they made her eat frogs and do some weird stuff. I apologize for that. I had nothing to do with that. I was like, what? Yeah. No, I didn't write that one. I reread that. She eats a what? A frog? And I looked at my exec producers and they just said, go to work. Okay. So I didn't make that decision, but that was made by the top levels, and I thought it was the right way to go. I wanted to break new ground. Let's go on. Let them have kids. Let them have issues. Of course they do it now. After I wanted them to do it 20 years ago, they stole my idea. I'm suing everybody.
There's also this conundrum in episodic television that you had the sexual tension. Go back to Moonlighting, go to all these shows that usually marriage is the kiss of death for the series. Did you worry about that? Did you feel that?
They say that, and I think in retrospect a lot of the head brass felt that was the case. I don't. I never did. Maybe that's what my dad tells me probably my greatest character trait is that I'm the eternal optimist. And I just didn't think that was a problem. I thought that was great. I thought we should break new ground. Be bold. Do something. You know, you can make something new and fresh. But a lot of people said that was the kiss of death for us. But there's so many problems. I mean, look, when people get married, apparently I've never been married. But when people get married, it's not, you know, they live happily ever after. There's a lot of issues, a lot of things that can happen, so I hear. And I think that would have been a rich place to mine for stories and real great stuff for them to go through. And I wish they had. You know, they could have, been married and broken up, and that would be really tough. It's different than having her turn into a clone and eat frogs. Just saying. Just throwing it out there.
We are on a very brief time right now, so we've got time for maybe 1, 2 questions. One more? 1 minute.
For my last question, I do like to ask current guests who are in current shows, is there a prankster that is on the set? Like a specific prankster?
On Supergirl?
Yes.
I would never tell if we had a prankster named Christopher Wood who plays Mon-El. I would never tell everybody else. I wouldn't do that. So, I don't know.
Sir, you are terrifying. All right, good one.
The Joker is pretty terrifying, but I'm looking at the white-faced Bizarro Superman out there, and he is freaking me out. That's outstanding. I looked at him, and I thought maybe he looked at me, and I looked away. What does that say? I was like, no, did he look at me? I didn't. God, what did he look at me? Does that mean anything? I don't know what's happening.
So, one more question, don't suck.
That's a lot of pressure.
Hi, I'm Kathy from Fairborn, Arkansas.
Well, hello,
The
Kathy.
Razorback.
All right.
Hi, Kathy.
Okay, I'm not much on.
Well, thank you, Kathy. It was nice talking to you.
I fell in love with you on Hallmark.
Okay, you're back in my good graces. We're good. We're good.
Yes, and are you going to be doing more Hallmark movies?
I love those Hallmark movies. They're wonderful. They're sweet. I love the Christmas movies. I love the kids with dogs movies. Those are all so much fun to make. Part of the reason I made those is because I enjoy that genre and I enjoy making those kind of films. Another part is because I wanted my son to be able to see the films and be on set as I was making them. And he's in a couple of them, just little parts here and there. And another part was because you shoot those things in about 3 weeks. And that's lovely lifestyle where you want to be around your family. I don't want to be, like I said, I never wanted to be an absentee father. So those are all the reasons I shot those. I would still shoot them. I will still shoot them. Even if I just started Deadpool and made $187 billion, I'd still go make a lovely Hallmark Christmas movie because I think it's fun.
Yes, and this is Lacey.
What's the name?
Her name is Lacey.
Lacey?
Lacey.
Lacey. It's that Arkansas. You turn Lacey into like a 4-syllable. Lacey. Lacey. Okay. It took me a second. I got to pick on the Razorbacks. I got to pick on them a little bit. Lacey's very cute. And thank you for your question. And thank you all. I really appreciate talking to everybody here. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope that you all will come in, say hello, and enjoy the rest of your time here in Metropolis. My home away from home, my second home as it is. Y'all have been very great. Thank you very much.
Before we leave, usually one would ask for a moment of silence, but that's not what Adam West would have wanted, who died yesterday and was a friend of Metropolis. He's been a guest yesterday. So instead of a moment of silence, let's hear a big round of applause for everything Adam West brought to us.
You dying?
Ladies and gentlemen, did you have a good time over there? The D&D show. I think you guys need to take that on the rule. The D&D show. Done. Yeah, D&D. Yeah, done.
Yeah, I think so.
I tell you what, that was fun.